And now, Two Genius, One Idiot presents What's Kraken?
So let's get into the Kraken and how the draft and everything is going to work. It's less than a year until the Seattle Kraken will begin their first season. It's all about to start feeling real. How so, you may ask?
How so, Tommy?
How real?
The date for the NHL expansion draft is set for January 13th.
Tell me more.
Wait, January 13th?
January 13th, 2022 will begin a 56-game season. Okay?
So shorten then.
Right.
Wait. But what's the date set for the draft?
Hold on. I'm getting there. So our 56-game season starts in January 2022. Now, coming up in the next couple of months, especially June, July, is going to feel like our team's coming together. Okay. So right now they've got a scouting team that they've got together, and they're going around to all these other teams right now, and they're scouting all the people and trying to figure out who's going to be on the protected list and unprotected list, which I'll get into here in a minute. So July will be a busy month for the Kraken. It's time to build the roster. First is July 17th, which is the deadline for the 30 NHL teams. Seattle will draft from to submit their protected players. Second is July 21st, when the expansion draft itself will be held.
21st.
The annual NHL draft will take place July 23rd and 24th.
Now, is it just for Seattle, or is Quebec going as well?
So this is no. This is for Seattle.
Just Seattle. Okay.
It's usually held in June. The regular draft is, but due to the pandemic, it's pushed. Our roster will mainly be built through expansion draft, which will follow some rules Las Vegas had for the same 2017 draft, which is really good news for us because they look what they did, right? With the way that everything's protected and how they were able to draft, they were, and even with the regular draft, they thought they were going to get the number 4 slot, but they ended up getting the 6th slot in the draft.
Ooh, they even got shafted a little bit and still did good.
Right. So they ended up make the playoffs the first 2 years.
Yep. They made the Stanley Cup in their inaugural season, so that's
So I mean that's.
And
so
by they we mean Golden Knights, right?
Yeah, Las Vegas Golden Knights. So the Kraken will pick one player from each team, except for Vegas, to create the roster that includes at least 14 forwards, 9 defensive men, and 3 goaltenders. Okay, so Vegas's team cannot be touched.
Right, because they're too new.
They're protected.
Right.
Yes.
Question.
Yes.
Oh, maybe you're going to get to it, but I'm just curious, how many players can each team protect?
I am getting into that.
Roger that.
Each NHL team can protect 7 forwards, 3 defensive men, and 1 goalie on their roster. First and second year players are exempt from selection, as well as unsigned draft choices. These players can't count toward protection limits.
Okay.
Players with no movement clauses who decide not to waive them must be protected by their teams and will count to the protection limits. All teams must expose 1 defenseman and 2 forwards who are under contract for 2021 and 2022 and played in at least 40 NHL games in 2021 or at least 70 games in the 2 seasons prior to the draft.
Okay.
All teams must expose 1 goalie who is either under contract for the 2021 and 2022 season or set to be a restricted free agent for restricted free agent goalies. To meet the requirements, they must receive a qualifying offer from their team before their team submits its protected list.
Right on.
Players who have missed over 60 consecutive games due to a potentially career-threatening injury or have confirmed career-threatening injury will not be eligible to count on an updated or an unprotected list, which approved by the NHL. These players may also be exempt from being selected by the Kraken.
Okay.
NHL teams will have a 23-man active roster, which are cut down to 20 players for each game. The Kraken will be in the Western Conference Pacific Division, with the Arizona Coyotes moving to the Central Division beginning the 2021-2022 season to make 2 8-team divisions in the conference. Our conference will have the 7 other teams in our conference will be Las Vegas, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, San Jose, Anaheim, and Los Angeles.
Ooh, that's a good.
It's going to be a tough conference.
It is. It is.
It's going to be a really tough conference. So we got a lot of good dates coming up that I'm excited to see.
So, if you don't mind me interjecting, with that draft, the way that the NHL does their draft, it is probably the fairest for an expansion team in all of the professional sports, because
I agree.
with let's say like the NBA, they do give the expansion teams some access to the players, but they usually would protect like their starting five. Basically, what this is in NBA terms is you can protect your 3 of your 5 starters. Is kind of how the math works out, sort of.
Right.
And so it makes these teams ultra competitive right off the bat versus the other ones. Usually with the expansion teams, it takes a while for them to get good, and they end up drafting really high players because they suck.
Well, unlike the NFL, like the way that the NHL does is you'll have you basically have like 2 or 3 teams on that team at any given time to switch out the guys on the ice.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously most rosters have a lot of good players on them.
They do.
So you can't protect everybody. And I do think that this is an awesome way to do it.
Yep.
As an established team, I would think this is annoying as hell.
Well, it probably is.
I bet it is.
Especially 2 times in the last 10 years you've had to do this.
Right? You're like,
Yep.
again, we got to rack and stack them again.
I bet you that some of these teams played a little bit of their players more so that way they'd be eligible so they could get rid of them. Then they could
think
protect the
so?
other ones.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, if they're
might
thinking
be-
this has been out for a while, you know what I mean? So they known this was coming. I bet you there is some 3D chess going on with some of these clubs. Probably not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm
I'm
excited.
the more and more I keep hearing about this, the more and more excited I get, and I'm gonna put together a deal for the Climate Pledge Arena of all the changes and what we can look forward to for the stadium concessions, the seating, the different packages, the off,
Bundle up, because when they play hockey, it's cold in the stadium, no matter what time of year it is.
There you go.
It's
and
on ice.
No shit.
Jesus.
Next episode, we're gonna have corn-fed Kyle on, who is a new Kraken season ticket holder, and talk to him a little bit about the experience that he's had
I'm
so
looking forward to it.
far, and what we're looking forward to. So it's gonna be good.
So before, do you have anything else to add to the what's cracking section, Tommy?
I forget his name, but we have Root Sports has confirmed that that's going to be the home of the Kraken, and there is a seasoned guy that's going to be the voice of the Kraken.
Oh, is he in the NHL now?
Tell me more, Tommy.
Shut up, stupid.
We're bringing that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have it next week.
Rock on. Rock on. We'll have that next week, folks. Who's gonna be the voice of the Kraken?
Mike 1.
I don't know who it's gonna be.
We shall see. We'll find out.
We'll find out next episode. There's a teaser for you. I got goosebumps.
Wow.
Oh, man.